Welcome to Out of the Office Investigation into Personal Health Actualization. This time, we're discussing Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health. Hello everyone, I'm Puck, and as always, I'm here with my co-host, Ramsey.
It's great to be here, Puck. We have a really fascinating topic today, one that's been gaining a ton of buzz in the wellness world, and for good reason.
You got that right. We're talking about a specific gut bacterium called Akkermansia muciniphila. Now, I know that's a mouthful, but stick with us because this little microbe is a powerhouse. It typically makes up about 1 to 5% of your gut microbiome and is being called a next-generation beneficial microbe.
It's really a cornerstone for overall wellness, influencing everything from digestion and immune health to your metabolism.
And it's so important to frame this discussion correctly from the start. Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health suggests our body's health is connected to our diet, actions, nutrition, sunlight, fresh air, personal energy, and our clarity routine of alignment of our actions, words, and thoughts. It's all connected.
Absolutely. So today, we're going to explore 3 key areas. First, we'll look at Akkermansia's role as the gatekeeper of your gut barrier. Then we'll get into its profound effects on metabolic regulation. Think weight, blood sugar, and all that. And finally, we'll touch on its surprising influence on the gut-brain axis and even our mental health.
Let's start with that first point, Puck, the integrity of the intestinal barrier. This is so crucial. A lot of people have probably heard the term leaky gut, right? Exactly. And Akkermansia is a key player in preventing that. Now, here's the cool part. Its name, muciniphila, literally means mucin-loving. Mucin is this glycoprotein layer that protects your intestinal lining. Akkermansia actually degrades or, eats this old mucin. But, and this is the critical part, this process stimulates your body to produce new, fresh mucin. It's like a built-in renewal system that keeps that barrier strong and healthy. It's not just about cleaning up, it's about triggering a rebuild. And that leads to another incredible mechanism, cross-feeding. Akkermansia doesn't work alone. It produces these things called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs, specifically propionate and acetate. These then feed other beneficial bacteria, which in turn produce another SCFA called butyrate. And butyrate is the real MVP here. It's the primary fuel source for the cells lining your colon, and it helps strengthen what are called tight junctions. You can think of these as the glue holding your intestinal cells together. Stronger glue means a less leaky gut, and importantly, a less inflammatory environment. This directly ties into the immune system. By keeping that gut barrier intact, Akkermansia helps modulate immune reactions. It can dampen excessive responses and even induce the secretion of anti-inflammatory cytokines. It's no surprise that low levels of Akkermansia are consistently linked with conditions like inflammatory bowel disease, so things like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. Okay, so it's a guardian for the gut, but its influence extends way beyond that, which brings us to metabolic health. Ramsey, this is where the research gets incredibly exciting for so many people struggling with weight and metabolic issues.
For sure. There's a clear inverse correlation. The more Akkermansia you have, generally, the lower your body weight and BMI tend to be. And we're not just talking about correlations, we have human trial evidence.
Let's talk about that proof of concept study. It involved overweight or obese individuals with insulin resistance. They were given pasteurized Akkermansia, so not even the live version. And the results were significant. They saw improved insulin sensitivity, lower total cholesterol, and actual decreases in body weight, fat mass, and even hip circumference. It's just remarkable. And scientists have even pinpointed a specific protein on the bacterium's outer membrane called amuc110 that seems to be responsible for a lot of these benefits. This protein acts like a signal, stimulating the secretion of a hormone called GLP-1. GLP-1 is a huge deal for improving how our body handles sugar and can even help regulate how we absorb lipids or fats. It also has a protective effect on the liver, helping to guard against metabolic dysfunction-associated fatty liver disease, or MAFLD. It basically helps counteract some of the damage, like high levels of inflammatory molecules called LPS that can be triggered by a typical high-fat, high-sugar Western diet. This really drives home a critical point. Understanding Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health and how to make healthy daily choices for diet, behaviors, and medical care is critical to our physical and mental health and recovery from hypertension. You're listening to the Out of the Office with research by author Paul Bulow.
Okay, so we've established its role in the gut and in our metabolism. But Puck, let's venture up the gut-brain axis. How does this tiny microbe affect our mind? This is perhaps the most cutting edge of the research. We're seeing powerful connections between Akkermansia and neurological and mental health. For instance, that same AMUC110 protein has been shown in animal studies to alleviate depression-like behavior and anxiety.
How does it do that? It's fascinating. It seems to modulate neurotransmitter levels, particularly 5-HT, which is serotonin, both in the gut, where most of it is produced, and in the brain. It might even influence levels of BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is like a fertilizer for our brain cells. And it doesn't stop at mental health. There's emerging evidence for its role in neuroprotection. In mouse models of Alzheimer's disease, for example, Akkermansia has been shown to mitigate cognitive deficits and the amyloid pathology associated with the disease. It can even reverse cognitive impairment linked to high-fat diets, which really makes us ask the big question here. How can Akkermansia bacteria support mental and physical health? It's not just one or the other. It's a holistic effect. And that leads perfectly to another key question. Can Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health improve our mental health while supporting physical optimum performance? The evidence is certainly pointing in that direction. Okay, so everyone listening is probably wondering, this is amazing, how do I get more of it? And the trick is, you can't find Akkermansia in food. You have to eat foods that nourish it. Exactly. It's all about creating the right environment. First up, prebiotics, which is basically fiber. Think foods like artichokes, bananas, onions, garlic, asparagus, oats, apples, and flaxseed. These are what Akkermansia loves to feast on. And second, polyphenols. These are powerful antioxidant compounds found in plants. The easiest way to think about this is to make your meals as colorful as possible. We're talking about berries, which are rich in ellagic acid, green tea, full of catechins, and things like plums, pomegranates, pecans, and hazelnuts. Beyond diet, it's about the bigger picture. Creating a healthy gut environment also means reducing things that harm it, like added sugars in sodas and desserts. It means managing chronic stress through mindfulness or yoga. And it even means increasing your time in nature, which is shown to enhance microbial diversity and improve your mood. For those who need an extra boost, supplements are now an option. The pasteurized form of Akkermansia is recognized as a novel food in Europe, and there are also low FODMAP prebiotics like citrus and pomegranate extracts that can help without causing digestive upset for sensitive people. Ultimately, Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health aligns our bodies to a healthy environment for both mental and physical success. So that leads us to a final, practical question, Ramsey. What are key elements for Akkermansia bacteria role in overall personal health? It's diet, stress management, and a supportive lifestyle. It's that simple and that complex. You're listening to the Out of the Office with research by author Paul Bulow. All right, Ramsey, we have painted a very, very positive picture, and it is overwhelmingly positive. But for the sake of a balanced view, we have to introduce some nuance here. Right, this is our 10% contrarian view. It's not always a simple case of more is better. For one, Akkermansia abundance isn't always stable. It can fluctuate quite a bit, sometimes showing what researchers call short-term blooms. It's not a constant presence you can just set and forget. And the research in certain conditions gets, well, a bit confusing. In some studies on neurological and autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis or MS, scientists have sometimes observed higher levels of Akkermansia. This could mean a lot of things. Maybe it's a specific strain causing issues, or perhaps the body is increasing its levels to try and compensate for inflammation. We just don't have the full story yet. So caution is definitely required when we just look at absolute numbers. It's not a panacea for every single condition out there. However, let's bring it back to the big picture. The overwhelming weight of evidence still positions Akkermansia at the forefront of therapeutic innovation. Its gut-shielding and anti-inflammatory properties are potent, and the promise for metabolic disorders and mental health is just too big to ignore. Couldn't agree more. The main takeaway from this complexity is that we need more large-scale, human clinical trials to validate its efficacy and safety across a wide range of health challenges. The future is incredibly bright, but the science is still an ongoing investigation. And to really wrap this all up, a final thought. Akkermansia bacteria can be linked to an overall healthy body. That says it all. At the end of the day, learning how to manage our internal ecosystem, and specifically how to cultivate this one critical microbe, is a powerful strategy for lifelong health actualization. Thank you so much for joining us on this investigation.
From all of us here at Out of the Office Investigation into Personal Health Actualization, thanks for listening.